Welcome to Girlfriends Bible Study, a live Bible study with Connie and friends. Each week, Connie and her girlfriends engage in a lively conversation as they read and study Scripture. So grab a pen, your journal, and your best friend, and enjoy this enlightening Bible study.
I just want to share a couple of thoughts with you tonight, and I'll pull up some scriptures to go with them, but I just really want to share with you some of the scriptures that really help me when I'm struggling with some things, and some of the quotes that I've heard throughout my life that have been really helpful. So first of all, I want to share my Aunt Trudy, who was my mentor. She used to always say, perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. And I'm going to put a pin in that and come back, because she was right, as she always was. But I'll come back to that in just a moment. I also want to share a quote from Henry Ford. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right." And that's really true. If you don't think you can do something, you're not even going to try. You won't even try. If you think you can't do it, but you think about people who believed that they could, so they did. Like, you think about the Wright brothers, and there were probably, who knows how many others. I know people say they weren't the first ones to fly. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. What I can say is they believed they could, so they did. And similar, again, this is about the power of words and thoughts. You think about Muhammad Ali, who said long before he was the greatest, he said, "I am the greatest." And then he became the greatest because he believed it and he said it and he did it. I'm a major proponent of that. I'm very careful with my words, and I try not to use negative words or rehearse the negative um, thoughts that come in my head. If I'm feeling down, I don't want to put it into words. I don't, like a lot of people say, "Oh, I have," and then they'll name some disease or some affliction. I don't own it that way. I might say I'm dealing with, but not "I have." And if you think of the disease or the ailment as a person, so let's say, and it's not to be in denial. This is not about being in denial. This is about truly understanding the power of words. Like, if you really understood the power of words and understood that every time you say something, every time you think something, and then let it come out of your mouth, and then you say it, if you could see the energy that comes out of your mouth, you would understand. So let's say it's a person. Let's say you look at diabetes, let's say, as a person. And let's say you look at it as an enemy or a person who wishes you no good. Then would you say, "I have," let's call it Diane. "I have Diane." No, if Diane's your enemy, you wouldn't say you have her. You would say, "I'm dealing with Diane. I'm going to get with Diane. Me and Diane, we're battling it out." You might say that. But what you wouldn't say is, "I have Diane." And there are people who do that all the time. And I really try to be careful about it. I'm dealing with a headache. I'm dealing with diabetes. I'm dealing with pain in my arm. Just the same way I deal with Diane, I deal with Frank, I deal with Sam, I deal with Georgia, whoever it is, I deal with it. I handle it. I'm battling them. But what I'm not going to do is own them. I won't do it. I won't do it. So I know that sometimes people think of that as being in denial. They think I'm just the ultimate optimist, and that, deciding that you're not going to say something doesn't mean you don't have to deal with it. You're right, but I didn't say I didn't have to deal with it. I said I didn't own it. I don't own it. There's a difference. It doesn't mean I'm in denial. It's how I perceive that thing. It's not mine. I don't want to keep that. I don't say I have, like people say, "Oh, I have high blood pressure. I don't have that. I don't want that. I'm not claiming that. I don't claim it." So Trudy, my mentor, She would say, as I mentioned, perspective is everything. And when I was younger, I would argue, no, Trudy, what if, you get into a horrible accident and you're paralyzed from the neck down? That's not perspective. You are paralyzed. And she said, but your perspective determines how you deal with it. Because there's some people who would find that they were paralyzed and they would just want to die. Their perspective would be, my life is over. And then there are other people, and this is a situation, this is real. There was a woman in California when I lived there, one of the times I lived there 3 times. And she was an ABC reporter. I can see her face. I don't remember her name, but she was an ABC on air reporter, red hair. And she got into her truck, her television truck, and it was raining that day, and lightning struck the truck, and she was electrocuted inside the truck and was paralyzed from the neck down. Now, I have a family member who said if ever they were paralyzed from the neck down, they would just want to commit suicide, period. This woman who was paralyzed from the neck down, she was so thankful. She said, I did not die. That means I get to see my daughters graduate from high school. I get to see them graduate from college if they choose to go. I get to see them get married and have children. I'm still here to be able to be their parent, their mother. I'm still here for my husband. I'm still here to see my grandchildren. Her perspective was everything. There are people who, when they're told you'll never walk again, they decide in their brain, oh, yes, I will. Yes, I will walk again. And doctors have said it's a miracle. It doesn't make sense. Those nerves were torn, they were severed. It shouldn't have happened. But there is a doctor. She is a scientist, medical scientist, doctor who is also a believer, and she is fierce. Her name is Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she's done research studies on the power of thoughts on our brain. And that when somebody decides something, if they decide I'm not going to stay paralyzed, I may be dealing with paralysis, I think is right. I may be dealing with that now, but this is not where I'm going to stay. As they start telling themselves, I will walk again. I will walk again. I will walk again. And they say it over and over and they're doing the thing. The doctors can't understand it, but those nerves start growing back together, mending. They can't figure it out. They can't figure it out, but it's real. And then those people, those patients that they said would never walk again, here they are up and walking one day. I know every situation doesn't end like that. I get that. I get that. And whether it's because we stop believing, whether it's because we stop saying, whether it's because really we're ready for the break that we're getting, who knows what, or maybe it's just our time. Maybe we fulfilled our purpose. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know the scripture says in Proverbs 23:7 that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I think about people who have a victim mentality. And it doesn't matter how much they're blessed. It doesn't matter what they've accomplished, how many degrees they have, how much money they earn. If they think that all they do is deal with lemons, that life has just thrown them a curveball, and that their whole life, all they've had are nothing but misadvantages and disadvantages, and they haven't had any opportunities. If they believe that, then it doesn't matter how many degrees, how many great jobs, how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how many friends they have, what kind of loving family they have. If they have decided, like Eeyore, woe is me, I didn't have the opportunity somebody else had, so I will never be anything. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Whether you think you are or you think you aren't, you're right. It does become self-fulfilling. It really does. Even the scripture, and it's always bothered me in Job, where it says, the thing you feared most has come upon you. And you think about people who, say that they're so afraid of whatever happening, and then that thing keeps happening in their life. Don't think I'm not here. So don't think I'm not speaking myself here, okay? Y'all know that I have previously, look at that word, previously, not any longer, but previously dealt with a fear of bugs. And what have I attracted in all of my life? Crazy looking bugs. Cicadas and sprickets and tiger spiders and like miscellaneous. But you know what? Not any longer. Because I'm not drawn that to myself anymore. I'm not afraid of them any longer. I worked until I was no longer afraid of them. Even though there might be times I get some goosebumps when I see a couple of things, the bottom line is I recognize I am 1,000 times bigger than whatever that is, and I'm not going there with that thing. I am not. I think about military officers or policemen, the good ones, and firefighters, the people who run into danger, who protect us, the ones who will confront the things that most of us would be afraid to deal with. There's a bad guy with a gun, SWAT team goes in. We wouldn't go in, we turn the other way, get out of harm's way. There's a fire, firefighters go in. That's crazy. There's a war, and it's not the draft, then these soldiers go in to protect our way of life or to protect someone else's way of life. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of the things that most of us would be hesitant at best to deal with. They're not afraid because they've decided, I'm trained for this, I'm ready for this, I know what this is, I can handle this. They don't let fear stop them. They don't let it control them. Their words and their actions come together. And it's that way about everything. The things, I mean, seriously, think about it this way. You have a little kid, and when they're little, they decide, I want to be a doctor. They say it when they're 5. They say it when they're 10. They say it when they're 15. And when they graduate, they're going to an undergrad that they can do pre-med, and then they go to medical school. They're saying it from the very beginning. I am going to be a doctor. That is what I am going to do. Not, oh, I wish I could be a doctor. Nope. I'm going to be a doctor. And then they start walking toward it. And then the world, the universe opens up to accommodate them in those things that they have already declared. They have called those things that be not as though they are. It's another favorite scripture. That one's in Hebrews, I'm pretty sure. And I'll have to look. I'll put it in the chat. So calling those things that be not as though they are. But when your mindset is, things don't work out for me, nothing ever works, I'm always going to be broke, I'm always going to be handicapped, I'm always going to attract the wrong guy or the wrong girl, I'm always, you know what? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. But perspective is everything. So all those things people told me I couldn't do, they tried to tell me I couldn't do it. If I decided, oh yes, I can do it, then guess what happened? I did it. And it's the same for you. I'm not saying it's easy. There are times when it's very hard. There are times. We all get weary. We all get weary. That's why you have to surround yourself with the same kind of people. I have people, great, great, great friends who know my aspirations. And when I'm feeling weary, they bolster me. They say, you got this, Connie. You can do this. You've done it before. You can do it again. Take a nap. Sometimes they'll tell me, take a nap. You need some rest. And then we're going to get back up and do it again tomorrow. You got this. You need people around you like that. Not the naysayers. Not those who don't think you can. Not those. You have to have those around you who are going to speak life into you so that if you do get weary, like humans, sometimes we do. Jesus got tired. Jesus took naps. Jesus got rest. That's okay. Sometimes you need a nap. But have those people around you who are going to encourage you and say, I'm not letting you quit. During the darkest time in my life, the darkest time, I had somebody who did not stop believing in me. She was there every day, checking on me, and giving me a helping hand. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I am so grateful for her. She is such a good friend. And she still checks on me. How's it going? Where are you in the journey? How's the adventure? What can I do? That's just who she is. And I have a number of friends who are in that same category, but she was local. I was in California. She was in California. She would show up. We're going to dinner. I need to sit across from you. look you in your face and say, I'm not going to let you give up because I know you. I know what you normally believe, and right now you're just going through, and I'm going to keep believing until you believe in yourself. And that's what we need. We need those people who can believe in us until we believe in ourselves, just for when we're tired. Most of the time, we got to do it on our own. We got to believe in ourselves or we don't make any headway. But for those times that you can't, you're weary, you got to have those who believe in you, who believe in you. My Aunt Trudy was that for me. When I was younger, I was so shy. There is no way I'd be on this Zoom or doing public speaking or traveling, being a boss, doing the things. I was so shy. I wouldn't even look people in their face. I steadily looking down. Just can't give you eye contact. Trudy said, if you don't want to be shy, you don't have to be. It's a choice. I was like, it's not. Yeah, it is. She would say, if you weren't shy, what would you say? Oh, I would say da 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 da. She'd say, then say that. Oh, I can't say that. I'm too shy. It's a choice. And she said it to me until I believed it. Even when I argued with her, she didn't care. You can argue with me if you want to. The truth of the matter is, it's a choice. And it was a choice. Oh, I thank God for Trudy. Trudy, for me, was the first one who truly believed in me like that, who saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself, that even my family, my immediate family, hadn't yet seen. Trudy saw it first. She was the first person that I remember who believed in me like that. And my mom and dad loved me. My siblings, they loved me. I'm not downing my siblings, my mom and dad. They loved me. There was no question about their love. There is never a question about their love. But seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself and that others couldn't see at that time, that was Trudy. And I believe she passed that gift on to me, which is just a blessing. I see people's gifts even when they can't see them. And sometimes when I share them, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to act on it. And that's okay. But every time I see them, I still let them know I still see you. I still see you. Because sometimes you need those people in your life who will see you and believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And at some point, you need to be the one who believes in you and start saying it. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I got this. Whether you can, whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. That's tonight's Bible study. So, Proverbs 23:7, Habakkuk, or Habakkuk, however you like to say it, 2:2. That's write the vision and make it plain so that men can run with it. Write it down. That's another scripture. And the one that is in Hebrews, call those things that be not as though they are. I will tell you where that is in the chat. I should know it by heart because faith is the faith book. Hebrews is one of my favorite chapters or favorite not chapters, favorite books of the Bible is Hebrews. I love it. Proverbs is probably my all-time favorite, but Hebrews is second to that, and talks a lot about faith. That without faith, it's impossible to please God. Without faith, it's impossible to do anything. Honestly, just saying. Anyway, so starting next Thursday, if I can get this together, I'm only going to be broadcasting on YouTube, and then I'll share it with Facebook afterwards. But you are welcome to Zoom in if you want to be part of my Zoom family. You're welcome to Zoom in, and I look forward to moving over to YouTube rather doing Facebook Live because I need them on YouTube. People are looking for my Bible studies, which is exciting, and I want them to be able to find them, and they're too hard to find on Facebook, and if you're not a member of Facebook, you can't find them anyway. So even though I make them public, it's still too hard to find. So I'm going to move over to YouTube in 2022. New things are happening in 2022. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Happy Thursday. You can do this. You are this. You got this.